It wasn't just the stolen invention, detective. It was the way they'd hint I was too city when I spoke, the way my ideas seemed to disappear in big meetings, the feeling of invisible hands touching my soul, leaving scars long after they were gone. It was like the air itself was too thick, filled with a deep denial that made me feel trapped, suffocating in a beautiful but unbreakable white cage. Maya Johnson's voice, usually strong and clear enough to command any classroom, was now a rough, quiet whisper. Her eyes, often bright with sharp intelligence, were far away, haunted by things only she could see. She sat across from Detective Miller, a man whose face, lined by years of seeing life's darkest parts, showed no emotion. He wrote notes, his pen making a steady sound against the soft hum of the room's lights. This wasn't about just one theft, one mean act. This was about a life slowly destroyed, bit by painful bit, all while pretending everything was normal, under the heavy weight of a sneaky, unfair system. Welcome to Engaging Voices, as we bring you a story not just of struggle, but of triumph. A tale that unravels the hidden cruelties within systems and the unyielding spirit of one woman who dared to stand against them. This is the story of Maya Johnson and her fight to break free from what she called the Alabaster cage. Her story didn't start with a bang, but with a quiet, almost unheard hum. The hum of what society expected, of secret codes and words, of doors that were always just a tiny bit open, never truly welcoming. Maya grew up in South Central Los Angeles. She found her peace not in the lively streets, but in the complex dance of computer programs and the elegant rules of science. She read thick textbooks like they were candy, her mind soaking up difficult ideas. Her grandmother, a woman whose hands had picked cotton and whose eyes had seen too much, had whispered to her, "They can't steal what's in your mind, baby girl. Hold on to that." And Maya did. She did extremely well, proving wrong every assumption, every low expectation. Scholarships opened her path to Stanford University, then a respected research job at Atherton Innovations, a huge tech company that promised fairness and amazing new discoveries. She was their diversity hire, a shining example for their yearly reports, yet she always felt like a small mark at the bottom of a page, a footnote in a story where she desperately wanted to be the main character. Her project, Chrysalis AI, was her life's most important work. It was a revolutionary learning program designed to teach children with different learning needs in a personal way, a system that could truly make things fair for everyone. She spent 5 years of her life on it, giving up sleep, friendships, and even her health. The computer code was smart, the user screens were easy to use, and its possibilities were endless. Her mentor, Dr. Alabaster Finch, a man with gray hair and a kind, friendly smile, had been her biggest supporter, or so she thought. He'd praised her intelligence, promoted her presentations, and even hinted at making her a junior partner once Chrysalis was launched. The first tiny crack in her beautiful white cage appeared quietly, a small line she first ignored. During an important meeting with investors, Dr. Finch had accidentally left her name off the main presentation slide, saying it was just an oversight. Then, a few weeks later, a new young researcher, a smart, ambitious white man named Owen Stone, fresh out of MIT, was assigned to work together on Chrysalis. Owen was charming, capable, and seemed eager to learn. Maya, tired but hopeful, was glad for the extra help. The second crack, however, was a loud, shattering sound. She found it on the Atherton Innovations public website, hidden among their new product announcements. Project Ascend, a groundbreaking adaptive learning AI developed and patented by Dr. Alabaster Finch and Owen Stone. The description was exactly the same, idea for idea, her Chrysalis. The demo videos even showed her unique design, slightly changed, as if making fun of her. Her mind spun. The quiet hum turned into a loud roar. The patent! Her name, carefully wiped clean from the history of her own creation. When she faced Dr. Finch, his friendly smile twisted into something cold and uncaring. Maya, please. Project Ascend is the result of many years of Atherton's teamwork. Your contributions, while appreciated, were not original enough. And the patent? Well, that belongs to the company. Owen stood beside him, a quick look of something unreadable. Fear? Victory? In his eyes. The argument grew more heated. Maya, burning with anger and betrayal, threatened to take legal action. Dr. Finch's voice became firm. You signed a detailed agreement, Maya. Any attempt to claim ownership, or even talk about this outside, would lead to a lawsuit that would crush you. And your career, for that matter. He leaned in, his voice dropping to a frightening whisper. We have a certain understanding here at Atherton. You either get it too, or you find yourself on the outside. Very, very alone. Alone. That word rang with a terrifying truth. Maya tried to talk to her coworkers, but suddenly doors were closed. Emails went unanswered. Her access to important company computers was taken away. She was made to feel crazy, dismissed as too emotional, imagining things. The, quote, brilliant young researcher became the troubled employee. Her good name, built carefully brick by brick, crumbled into dust. The unfair treatment based on her race and gender wasn't just in the clear theft. It was in the sneaky, unchallenged idea that a Black woman's intellectual work could be so easily erased, her voice so easily silenced, her intelligence so quickly given to others. It was in the assumption that she wouldn't fight, or if she did, that no one would believe her. But her pain got even deeper. The theft of her invention was only the public part of her suffering. For months before, while pouring her heart into Chrysalis, Maya had found comfort, or so she thought, in a growing relationship with a charming, rising star in Atherton's legal department, Marcus Stone. Marcus was Owen's older brother, a detail Maya hadn't thought much about at first. He paid attention to her, was charming, and seemed to truly value her intelligence, unlike so many others in her field. He was her steady support in the wild journey of her ambitions, her trusted friend, her partner. Their relationship had started beautifully, a whirlwind of late-night talks, shared dreams, and comforting closeness. But as the pressure on Chrysalis grew, so did Marcus's control. It started subtly, criticisms disguised as worry about her work-life balance, suggestions that she calm down her intensity in meetings, a dismissive wave of his hand when she spoke of the small, everyday unfairness she faced. Then came the gaslighting, making her doubt her own reality. You're overreacting, Maya. It's just how things work in big companies. Why are you so emotional? You need to be tougher. When she told him about Dr. Finch's increasingly avoiding her questions about the patent, Marcus had dismissed her worries. Alabaster is a busy man, Maya. Trust the process. You're part of the team. He had even, more than once, helped her by looking over her internal project papers, promising to smooth things over with the legal team. She now realized with a sickening feeling that he hadn't been helping. He had been carefully gathering the very proof that would later be used to make her look bad. The emotional abuse got worse after Project Ascend was made public. When Maya faced Marcus about his brother's involvement, about his own part in it, he became cruel. You're pathetic, Maya. You actually believed you, a little Black girl from nowhere, could walk in here and own something like this? Get real. You were just a piece in our game. My brother and I, we saw a chance, and you, with your innocent intelligence, walked right into our trap. He had belittled her, verbally attacked her, cutting her off from her friends and family with tricky tactics. The close moments they once shared, twisted into weapons against her, used to chip away at her self-worth and sanity. She remembered one night, after a particularly harsh argument, collapsing in tears, feeling completely worthless. He had leaned over her, his breath smelling of alcohol, and whispered, "No one will ever believe you. You're just a frantic black woman with a chip on her shoulder. Your word against ours. Guess who wins?" The abuse wasn't just in her mind. There were small, disturbing physical violations, first pretending to be affection, then growing into moments of hidden force. The unwanted closeness, the way he'd grab her arm too tightly, his body language showing a quiet threat when she resisted. She felt trapped, her spirit shrinking under his constant attacks, convinced she was indeed crazy, that she was losing her mind. He had systematically taken away her power, making her doubt her own experiences. The final breaking point came not from Marcus's cruelty, but from a forgotten, dusty box in her childhood bedroom. After being effectively fired from Atherton, her good name in ruins, Maya went back to her grandmother's small, comforting home. Cleaning out old things, she found a journal she'd kept during her college years. Flipping through it, she found a note from her second year describing a new idea, a rough drawing of an adaptive learning program. She'd shown it to her professor then, Dr. Alabaster Finch, during office hours. He'd praised it, encouraged her to work on it, and had even offered to mentor her, quietly guiding her away from talking about it too much, saying it was for protecting her invention. The pattern, she realized, had started years ago. She wasn't just a recent victim. She had been guided into this trap, subtly caught since her very first days in school. This wasn't just a stolen invention. It was a deep-rooted pattern of being used for profit, woven into the very fabric of her career. It ended with her identity completely erased and the mental torture she suffered. The thorns of the Stone brothers, sharp and hidden, had been designed to pierce her from every side. The turning point was less a sudden realization and more a quiet, desperate choice born from deep sadness. Maya sat on her grandmother's porch, the evening wind carrying the smell of jasmine. She held the old journal, its pages fragile with age, a reminder of her forgotten past. Her grandmother, sensing her quiet pain, simply sat beside her, gently rubbing her own rough hands. "Sometimes, baby girl," her grandmother said, her voice soft like old velvet, "you gotta burn it all down to see what grows back." Those words, along with the evidence in her journal, lit a spark of anger, a burning wish for revenge that went beyond her pain. It wasn't just about getting her work back. It was about getting herself back. She wouldn't be crushed. She wouldn't be silenced. Her first step was to find information. She searched online legal forums looking for lawyers who specialized in intellectual property theft, especially those who had dealt with cases involving unfair bias. She found a small, determined firm, Justice Weaver, run by two strong women, one a veteran lawyer for civil rights, the other a brilliant patent lawyer. They were, at first, doubtful, given Atherton's power and the lack of strong proof outside her own words. But when Maya showed her old journal, matched with dated emails and internal project notes she'd carefully dug up from an old computer, their doubt turned into deep interest. The broken, seemingly unconnected pieces of her story, when laid out by the sharp minds of attorneys Lena Sharma and Sarah Chen, began to form a chilling and clear picture. The real surprise came when Lena Sharma, the civil rights lawyer, started digging into Dr. Finch's past. A pattern appeared. Several former female and minority researchers who had worked under him had mysteriously left their careers or signed valuable secret agreements after their promising projects suddenly stopped or were taken over by male colleagues. One name stood out, Dr. Evelyn Reed, a brilliant black biochemist who had left her field suddenly years ago, her groundbreaking cancer research given credit to a white male team. Maya's journey to finding herself became tied to her search for fairness. It wasn't enough to fight her own battle. She realized she had a duty to uncover the deeper problem. She started therapy, a safe place where she could slowly deal with the years of being made to feel crazy and abused, slowly rebuilding her belief in herself. She reconnected with old friends she had pushed away, finding strength in their steady belief in her. She joined a support group for people who had survived domestic abuse, realizing she wasn't alone in the patterns of control and manipulation she had suffered from Marcus. The legal fight was brutal. Atherton Innovations, with its army of expensive lawyers, used every trick to make her look bad. They painted her as an unhappy, unstable employee, bringing up made-up work problems and fake disciplinary actions. Marcus Stone, now Atherton's new head of legal, led the defense, his every word a calculated lie, a chilling reminder of his past cruelty. He testified, calm and collected, denying any personal relationship beyond a casual acquaintance, making Maya seem obsessed. Owen Stone, equally calm, supported his brother's and Dr. Finch's story, making Maya question her sanity all over again. But Maya had an unexpected helper, Owen. After a particularly difficult questioning where the defense lawyers tried to break her down, Maya noticed a quick look of deep discomfort in Owen's eyes. It was a fleeting glance, easy to miss, but she saw it. He had seemed too quiet, too involved, too uncomfortable for someone who had just stolen an invention. In a desperate, long-shot move, Lena Sharma decided to try a risky strategy. She filed a request with the court, demanding access to all internal messages related to Project Ascend and Dr. Finch's past research teams. The judge, perhaps sensing the strong will of Maya's attorneys, agreed. The pile of documents was enormous. Most were harmless, but buried deep within an old company computer server, Lena's team found an encrypted chat log, accidentally unencrypted because of an old software bug. It was a chat between Dr. Finch, Marcus Stone, and a third, unknown person. The content was shocking. It showed a systematic plan to take inventions from vulnerable researchers, especially women and minorities, pretending to be their mentors, then giving credit and patents to others. The most shocking discovery was a detailed conversation between Dr. Finch and Marcus Stone about Maya. They had deliberately targeted her, not just for Chrysalis, but because of her previous relationship with Marcus. Marcus had acted as an inside agent, a scout, manipulating Maya into trusting him, quietly getting information about her research, and setting the stage for her emotional and professional downfall. The unknown third person in the chat was a corporate spy, hired to improve the takeover methods and make sure legal loopholes were tightly sealed. The biggest twist, however, was in a later, deeply hidden chat from a few months before, exchanged between Owen and Dr. Finch. Owen was expressing deep moral doubts about Project Ascend. He had written, "This isn't right, Alabaster. Maya built this. She poured her heart into it. And what Marcus is doing to her, it's just wrong." Dr. Finch's frightening reply, "You're young, Owen. You have a bright future here. Being loyal gets rewarded. Speaking against us does not. Besides, you're already involved." Owen had been an unwilling participant, forced into being part of it by his brother and Dr. Finch. He was the one who, in a moment of fear and mistaken loyalty to his brother, had given Marcus access to Maya's original, untouched computer code. But he was also the one who, filled with guilt, had left the chat log unencrypted, a silent cry for help, a buried confession. With this evidence, Maya's team now had clear proof, not just against Atherton, but against Marcus Stone, showing his abuse as a planned evil weapon for corporate theft. The case exploded. Media attention, at first uncaring, now turned to anger. The story of the frantic black woman, shattered, replaced by the image of a brave survivor, revealing a corporate conspiracy. Justice for Maya wasn't a neat, movie-like happy ending. She didn't get Chrysalis back completely, as Atherton settled for a huge secret amount of money, part of which was used to start a foundation in her name to support new inventors from minority groups. The legal battle had been hard, leaving scars that would never fully disappear. But she had taken back her own story. She had exposed the deep-rooted unfairness, not just at Atherton, But the sneaky ways racism, sexism, and abuse combine to silence and weaken people. Her journey to understanding herself, once a desperate fight for survival, turned into a powerful statement. She realized her intelligence was clear, her voice unbreakable. The therapy, the support groups, the battle itself had made her a fighter. She started speaking out, using her platform to help victims of unfair corporate practices and domestic abuse, sharing her story with honest truth. Maya Johnson, no longer trapped in a beautiful white cage, flew high. She started her own tech consulting company, focusing on creating fair AI and encouraging new ideas from all backgrounds. She guided young women of color, whispering the same wisdom her grandmother had given her. "They can't steal what's in your mind, baby girl. Hold on to that." But now, she added, "And if they try, you fight. You fight with everything you have, and you make sure the world hears your roar." Her journey was far from over, but the path ahead, though still difficult, was now one she walked on her own terms, free and unburdened, a testament to the strong spirit of people. Thank you for joining us on Engaging Voices. If Maya's story resonated with you, if it sparked a flicker of understanding or a flame of inspiration, we invite you to subscribe to our channel, hit that like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss another powerful narrative from Engaging Voices. Your support helps us continue to bring these important stories to light.